Welcome to Sounds of Sud. I'm your host, Jasmine. This podcast is for all the music lovers and anyone that wants to learn more about working in the music industry. Bringing you interesting insights and wild stories from DJs to festival organisers, we talk to all of the people behind the scenes that make the magic happen. So make sure to hit subscribe and I'll see you on the dance floor. Welcome, SaxBeatz, to Sounds of Sud, the podcast. How are you?
Oh, we're good.
Very good.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thanks for having
Tom
us.
and Malina, obviously a duo, but yeah, we are two separate people all the same. So make sure everyone knows your names before we get started.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
So thank you for coming over here. I've been so excited to talk to you guys. I feel like again this is another one that's been in the diary for a while.
Yeah, for a couple, 3 months, 4 months. When was that party? When did we met you on
Vivid
in Vivid, which is May. So since May.
Yep.
It's been in the works since May.
Yeah.
Did
a long time.
That
yeah. Whatever that is to when this comes out, who knows? No one ever even knows when I record them, one or the other. So since May, and the main reason we postponed is because you guys headed over to Europe.
Yeah. So obviously Tom is European. You can probably tell by the accent.
Pick up my strong Eastern European accent.
And so for the last 3 years now, I think we've been going to Europe during the Sydney winter, which is like famously a little bit quieter, of course, and going over to the summer in Europe, mostly spending time with Tom's family. Obviously, he's being in Slovakia, you're like Central Europe. So going anywhere from there is
kind of our base, and then we can mega trips.
Yeah, so we've used that as a base, and we've been able to do it because we're staying with family most of the time. And from there, we've just kind of fanned out and done some gigs locally in Slovakia, and then tried to do little gigs here and there outside of your home area as well. So yeah, it's like a mix of business and pleasure.
Yeah, so exciting. And I just realised I skipped straight over. I'm actually, as much as I love talking to all of the wonderful DJs in Sydney, I'm very excited that we've got a bit of a different twist on today. And, the name gives it away a little bit, but SaxBeatz. So we've got Malina here playing the saxophone, and she's absolutely incredible. And then we've got Tom spinning it on the decks. Awesome, huh?
The beats is the core.
Yes, I'm the sax, he's the beats. And our name is so self-explanatory. Sometimes it hurts. I'm like, oh, it's so on the nose. But yeah, that's
amazing. Okay, well, this is obviously a story in itself because you guys are a couple. So did you meet first, or did you meet through business, or where did it all begin?
That's a funny one. I maybe let Malina.
No, we honestly, okay, so first off, we met through Gumtree.
Yeah, not any traditional side. Yeah? Gumtree was the space at the time.
Gumtree of all things. So I had a saxophone tuition ad up on Gumtree. So I would advertise there for saxophone students. And then one day I get this message through Gumtree. And it was this, and if you can imagine it, in Tom's voice, it's like, hello. Here is Thomas.
She loves to do this.
This is me typing. I have great proposal for you.
Bullet point the things.
And then I got a bullet pointed list from Tom about why my life would be better if I worked with him. It was the most, it was so like regimented, but also just, it was wild. So, but it was funny because before Tom emailed me, I had gone to a festival, and I played saxophone for a long time, and at one point another DJ had asked me, do you want to play? And I was doing acting courses at the time, and I was feeling so overwhelmed, and I said no. And then I went to this festival, and I was pretty smashed, not gonna lie. And I think it was Mark Matthews, who's a sax player in Sydney. I think it was him. And he played at Electric Gardens. And I just remember being like, watching that and being like, that's so cool. I'm going to do that. And I told all my friends, I was like, I'm going to do that. Of course, he's played it because that's a huge festival and we're not there yet. But I just something about me, I was like, in that moment, I was like, I knew that I really wanted to do that. And then like 2 weeks later, I get this email from Tom. I was like, it's a sign. So I had to say yes.
But what was he asking?
To play with him so he's the DJ, I'm the sax player. He found me through that saxophone ad. So
that was just to try like how it goes.
Yeah.
See her, the energy and stuff, you know.
Oh, and then
So was there any pictures or anything? Did you have any idea what she looks like, how old she was?
I think so. You had just the profile picture, like with the sax, but kind of the blurry one because of Gumtree quality. But
and also,
so you didn't know like what you were signing up for at all. You just wanted someone to do saxophone with you DJing. It wasn't about the way she looks.
No, like look,
the truth is coming out, Tom.
Yeah.
How many saxophonists did you reach out to?
There was few tutors that were like doing this, so I reached out to more people, and
so he did a little competition, unbeknownst to me, that he was after a female sax player, not for the purpose of anything other than just, of course, to
keep the balance.
But like just to, I think, because you were working with a saxophone player back in Slovakia, so actually the name SaxBeatz came from your original group in Slovakia. And that was their project there. When he moved over here, he wanted to keep the name and rebring the project, but wanted to work with a female sax player, I guess, because it's different, you know?
Are you comfy enough?
Huh?
Are you comfy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I look uncomfy?
Yeah, you look a little bit uncomfy.
I'm actually so good. I'm just like,
okay. Oh, good, as long as you're comfy.
And yeah, so it turns out that Tom actually, you had like 3 different sax players that you got in to trial. Apparently, I won.
Malina was the best. Like, you can see the energy,
competition
charisma,
that I didn't know about.
Stuff. Oh, like some musicians, they are maybe a bit more shy, like in this sort of the area, and Malina had a great energy. So
she certainly does.
But I was definitely shy. I think I was definitely terrified when I first met you because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So get into the nitty gritty. So you've messaged, and what happened? Then you guys met up. Where did you meet up?
So it turns out another thing. So I said to myself, okay, because like I said, I was doing these acting courses, was taking out my whole life. I was like, okay, if it's in the city, it's probably not going to work because it's just too far.
She just did it because I lived maybe 10 or 15 minutes from
walk.
her.
It turns out,
what area?
This was in the Northern Beaches.
Okay.
It turns out he was like a 10-minute walk from my house. I was like, okay, I have to do this. This is definitely a sign that I need to go. And get this go, see how it will turn out. And so I went over, and I didn't quite know what to expect. I hadn't really heard Tom speak before. Hello. Welcome to my house. Sorry, I always go Russian. I can't do a Slovak accent.
Yeah, you can.
It goes Russian. Sorry.
That's hilarious.
And and then we were working together for at least 2 years.
2 years?
But yeah, before. Like, we're a couple now, but
2.5.
Yeah, maybe even slightly longer. We were just business and working and friendship. And then as time went on, that kind of evolved. And I think because we spent so much time working on music, working on the business, on emails.
So how long ago was this now that this all began?
6?
Around 6.
I think it was like 6 years ago now.
Wow, you guys been together for ages.
6 or 7?
I love it. This is already such a good story. I've got so many questions. So what were those first 2 years like? Like, what kind of gigs? Because obviously I know what you guys are doing now.
Yeah.
But, did you still have other jobs? Do you still have other jobs now? Like, what's the story?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're the one that really kicked it off the ground.
I was working the time in like an event industry and just like doing some audio, sound, like lighting jobs and everything connected with that. And how we started to kick. I think so.
You had the Bavarian.
Yeah, I was playing that time as a resident DJ in Bavarian in Manly, and it was a good spot because it was kind of like on ice in a war and stuff, and I had like a reach for the people, and we started to building up the name over there. And we invite...
Yeah, well, you were already playing there, and then I sort of just kind of tagged in, like joined in on what you were already doing. And then we just started building that. And you started building that mostly. You were working drummers
because I had
like
some materials and content back from Slovakia when we started that project with a friend, like a SaxBeatz, so some tracks or the graphics and other materials.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, in that time, how we built it, it was mostly Tom. Like, Tom can take the full credit for that, because he had experience sort of playing these kind of gigs from Slovakia, and I never played with a DJ up until this point.
So what kind of stuff did you play before?
So I've been playing saxophone since I think I was like 11 or 12.
Parents got you into it?
Oh no, I really wanted to play it. So my sister was playing the saxophone, and I think there was partially sibling rivalry where you want to be better than your sister.
My sister plays it too. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, so she started it, and I was like, oh, and then
older or younger?
Older, and then I used to take the saxophone when she wasn't playing, and then play it and practice it, and kind of got good at it before I'd even officially started taking any lessons from it. So I guess my sister inspired me. She brought the saxophone home, and that's where I was like able to access it and start playing it. And then obviously played that all throughout high school. And when I was 14, I somehow got myself into this a big band. Do you know what a big band is? It's the old school like swing music. So I'm talking like way back. And you've got so it's like there's like 16 people in a big band, for example, around that number, and you're playing swing music. And I was playing with, I think the average age of the band was about 60. So I was this 14-year-old. And then we were doing professional gigs. Like, I wasn't getting paid, but we were going to bars and venues and restaurants and private events and playing. And I was 14, and I was just like playing with all these other musicians who were all mostly amateur musicians, good musicians, but they didn't do it for their job. They did it for fun and for enjoyment. And then that went through, and then I went and studied music as well. So I have a degree in jazz composition, actually. That's
so specific.
It is, yeah. I went to my degree was at what we called at the time jazz school, so it was like mostly centered around jazz. But to be honest, through those 3 years of my degree, I found I like the amazing technical ability that it takes to play jazz, but I can always say that it just never spoke to me. Like I couldn't enjoy the music. Like I saw so many musicians at the school, just they lived for the jazz, they lived for it, they frothed on everything jazz, and I really found myself kind of resistant to it. I liked the technical element, but the music didn't really speak to me. I couldn't get into it like they could. So I always found that a bit jarring. So I ended up going through jazz composition, but I was always, even within my jazz composition, it was always really pop elements or house music elements that I put into my songs. And I think I didn't know that this was a pathway that we could go down. I never knew that this was a style that I could do. I think
it's pretty niche though. Like I wouldn't say loads of people do either. Like there's obviously a handful of people that do it, but it's pretty cool and unique. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I never saw this style when I was growing up playing music. So I didn't know it was an option. I wish I knew sooner. I would have been so much more motivated sooner. And I think when I found this style, and when I realized that this was something that I could do, then I just
loved it.
I just fell back in love with the music again.
And have you had up until any point did you have another job, like a day job? Or do you even know?
Yeah, I mean, even now I still do some teaching on the side, but the music...
Teaching a saxophone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still within that realm.
Yeah.
It's not like you're a dentist, you know?
So I just do that privately, but it's the music and performance has really taken over. So that's most of our work now. But you still had other jobs as well?
Yeah, I went definitely through some series of jobs when I arrived here. But
how long have you been here, Tom?
Around 8 years.
And you, Malina?
Coming up 10.
Yeah. Oh, the same.
Yeah.
I'm like in
10
between.
as well?
I was 9 in June, so I'll be 10 next year.
I'm 10 in 2 or 3 days. What day is it?
It's the 21st of October today.
I think I arrived on the 23rd or the 24th.
Oh, this will already
In
be out by then.
2000.
So happy
Almost
10
a
years,
decade.
Malina. It's weird though. It's
Oh,
really,
Times fly here.
really weird
Decade.
feeling.
So
And,
quick.
Okay, so you're 10 years, you're 8 years.
8 months.
And then do you still do
No,
other
you're
work now, or are
9.
you purely the business?
Just purely focusing for this, like
Yeah.
performing and everything connected with that.
But
We have
Because the thing is, you
Yeah.
have to put time into it to get anything out of it. That's why I've just dropped down to 4 days a week of work, because I was like, I'm never going to get this further than it is if I can't invest some proper time into it. And, you know, you have to make a financial sacrifice, but hopefully that's in the short term to then build something for yourself in the long term, you know?
Yeah, it's you have to invest, and that investment does come in time and it does come in money.
takes the time, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So now you're on 4 days to focus on the podcast.
Yeah, and other
Amazing.
music industry related work to like
Yeah.
network and stuff. Like I just worked at South by Southwest
Yeah,
last
cool.
week. I posted a reel about that today, just about my experience. I worked as a venue liaison, like, just to get experience and stuff like that. So, yeah, but mainly to put some proper time into this. And I've only been doing it for 3 or 4 weeks, and I already feel so much better, and I have got so much done because I've just got a full work day where I'm treating it like a work day, but it's for this.
Focus just
Yeah.
Rather than my head just spiraling all week about this never-ending to-do list that wasn't getting any shorter. Now, and don't get me wrong, like, yeah, it's hit me financially, but again, hopefully it's something that over a period of time will pay off.
I think it will. I mean, it will show. It
We'll
will.
see. And maybe won't be sat here on my fridge in my garage.
You always start somewhere and then go, oh, that reminds me. The spoon. So when we first, but this is
Everyone
where you
starts somewhere.
start and this is where you grow. Like the very first time we ever recorded
that was
something.
quite a session.
We
I
didn't have
remember
a
that.
microphone. We didn't have a microphone.
Just the basic
stand.
microphone, but we didn't have a stand, and it was just the small room in Manly that I was renting that time, and we wanted to put together some recording, like a set, like with sax over the top. And because I didn't have stand that time, we taped the mic
to a wooden spoon.
the wooden spoon, and just like a
And
directive
then
for a chair.
taped the wooden spoon to your little rickety bookshelf thing. It was ridiculous.
But that's was it like one of those kind of mics, like similar kind of thing?
No. It
It's-
was like big, chunky, proper
Oh.
The
mic.
Shure, like a 58.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
proper
a,
mic,
some
yeah,
cheaper
yeah.
one, like a proper mic. But the setup, like when you would see the picture,
Like duct taped to a wooden spoon.
But it's kind of nice though, because then it's like, as you do see progression, like even from how I was doing it before my holiday, moving everything around in here and getting the beanbags and that, just making it look a little bit nicer each time, you can see the improvements and it feels good. You
This
know?
looks great, by the way.
It's, again, I'm just making the most of what I got. Like,
Yeah, I agree
This
because I
age,
think,
yeah.
I mean, the audio, as long as your audio quality is fine and people
it could
have
definitely
that
be,
visual.
it could definitely be better, but again, with that become like, if I could have mics sat around or hair cameras everywhere, but then it's just even more editing and that's money again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
sorry, I
good.
feel like we're diverging.
No, it's good.
So, Tom, by the way, I absolutely fucking love listening to your voice. I have the pleasure of living with Irishmen, and I love their voices and their accents, and they bring me great joy listening to them on a daily basis. But that's a new one. I don't have any Slovakian friends. Is that right? Slovakian?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Slovakian.
Yeah,
Just
but-
They get it
not Slovakian.
Not
We get
Slovakian or
Slovakian.
Slovenian. Get confused sometimes.
Slovakia is something you eat. It's good, but it's not.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the Greek food?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Slovakia.
And funny enough, I don't know what I'd call that anyway. So as much as like, your voice is also beautiful, we might try and.
Oh no!
Fine.
I
taking the money
understand
down
that Thomas's voice is definitely the most beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was also saying this to you just before that you have an
He loves
amazing.
to, like,
I do like to parody it, but I
all
also
the time,
love.
all the videos to all friends.
But
like,
it
all
is
the time.
it is a unique accent, and
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful, and it's you don't hear too much of it.
No, that's what I mean. It's not so common. I have a friend at work as well, and I'm not sure if it's exactly the same place, but him talking and when he's going on a rant about something is like the funniest thing I've honestly ever heard. He was doing a presentation at work and he had done like a competitor analysis, and I won't go into the details, but the way he was talking about this stuff and how much he hated it, it was just so funny. I had tears rolling down my face this meeting. I was like, this is brilliant.
Where's he from?
I don't know. I don't know, but sounds like
Eastern
Tom.
Europe, yeah.
But he sounds like Tom.
Yeah, he does. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'll find out for you though. I'll find out. We'll circle back. So, Tom, you've been here for 8 years. So what did life look like for you in Slovakia before you? Why did you come here? What was your profession?
I studied uni at that time, so my intention was just to come for 1 year and see the world and
Same one. Just for 1
see
year.
the things.
Never
And
happened.
look now, like 8, almost 9 years gone. So I interrupted like my studies like for first year, but it wasn't enough. So I interrupted for the second year. And after that, I couldn't like extend it more. So I just didn't return and then stay here and started to building life, doing things. And
And when did you get into DJing?
Sorry?
When did you get into the DJing, in Slovakia or here?
Yeah, in Slovakia, yeah. So it's been, I would say, like around 10 years or like
Okay.
more that I play. And there is like a bit musical background. So I play like a bit on piano and
Do you?
did some flute and sax as well.
You
so
were playing
that's
the
why
flute?
that's like you need to do like 1 or 2 years.
Wait, but
prior-
you mean flute by being recorded, don't you?
Yeah, the
yeah,
recorder,
it's not that. Yeah, yeah.
the basic one,
'Cause
not
flute
like the
is this
proper
one.
one. And
Wait, what?
yeah. Like, do
There
you
are two
call it a
types.
recorder?
Recorder.
Do you mean
It's
those
just
plastic
like
Recorder,
things?
yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
The baby
basic
one.
things.
The baby one.
That they
Yeah.
force every child to do,
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's kind of
But
like
you
a
call it a
first
flute.
step if you want to go to any like a brass instruments. Like in music school, like you can't start with sax straight away. That was kind of
But
like
did
the studies.
But did you just say before you actually play? Can you play the sax too?
Not now because it's been years.
If you want to splice some stuff, and I've got some great content of Tom playing on my
Absolutely.
saxophone.
Yeah,
Who wants to see
yeah.
Tom play the saxophone?
Yes,
I
yes.
do.
I think we need to do a switch. Me DJing and Tom
I
playing
let just
the
Malina do what she's the best.
No, you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to send it to you. Tom, do you give me permission?
No.
I'll just cut that out. Tom said yes.
When we opened this black box, I remember, I think it was like 2 years ago. So I had my old sax, like the alto one.
2 years ago? 3 years
That was
ago.
just the quick story with the sax that was the old broken one. And when I let Malina to try play on that one, she couldn't. Like,
Of course, because it was old and
it was
broken.
really hard to make like any noise and
It was
sound.
full
So
of leaks.
we test her skills like on the day.
So sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but that's just the way my brain works. So
That's all right.
when you guys first met and got together, you've been together for 6 years. So you'd been here for 2 years, and you'd been here for about 3. Or am I getting my maths all wrong now?
I think when we met, yeah, I think I would have been here
Around that
about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I can't. Oh,
So you have and have you
3
ever
years.
had a normal job, or have you always just been teaching sax?
No, that's a very good question. I kind of have had a normal job. I would say more so than Tom. When I was here, maybe 6 months in, I started an office job. So I was working an office job for a few years just to sort of pay the bills. Because I actually came here not to do music. I came here because I wanted to explore acting and look at those opportunities. I didn't necessarily intend to get back into music at full time, because I hadn't sort of found where my passion was for that style. Where am I going with this? So I had to supplement my insane tuition fees, and so I was working this office job just on the weekends, where it was paying like time and a half and double,
Yeah.
so that I could get the maximum out of it, and then
Yeah.
spend the week during the week going
Smart.
to the school. But then and then it somehow. So that's the only time I would say in my life that I've kind of had a normal job,
Yeah.
I would say.
Wow, that's so interesting, because a lot of people that come over here and talk to me, they either have very recently gone full-time music, or most of them are still like having jobs that some want to be in, some don't want to be in, just because there's not the market for everyone to be in it full-time. But I suppose with your thing, it's so niche, you probably get a lot more work consistently than some of the others do, because there's not hundreds of people playing the saxophone and DJing in Sydney, whereas there is hundreds of DJs, you know?
Yeah, like it's quite saturated.
Saturated, yeah. The market.
Sydney is very saturated for DJs. I think there is an element of that, and but it does, that being said, it's not been easy. There's been peaks and
absolutely
troughs,
not,
and sometimes
Some seasons are stronger.
some seasons are stronger. When it rains, it pours. When it's dry, it can be really dry. So you do have
And how do you plan it? So when you're busy, you're obviously busy, but when you're dry, is it like, okay, we'll take some downtime and we'll go and have a nice trip away, or is it like, oh fuck, we need the work? Like,
I think there's an element of both.
Bit of both. Yeah.
Like if we have if there's an exhaustion in there because we've been really pushing it and everything's been so full on, we'll give ourselves the break, but then we always come back to what can we do to make sure that we have gigs. And for me, I think it's the most, what I didn't expect when I wanted to get into music full time is I didn't expect that the more I practiced, the less work I got. The more I send emails, the more work I get. And it's really like, it's an interesting...
It's a big part of the work, the administration.
There's so much admin.
Things involved with that. Like it was definitely mentioned maybe through your shows that the people wear many hats like in this profession.
Yeah.
You have to be your social marketing guru. Okay, now you have to produce, you have to DJ, you have to be like a great a social person, networking, building up the connections, and
you have to have a business mind.
Some accounting and stuff, setting up the arts. Yeah.
And with freelance work, and tell me to stop being so nosy, but I'm just interested, so I can cut it out if you don't like it. But with freelance work, so sporadic as this, is it hard to get like leases and stuff? Like I'm just going to assume you don't own your house, because nobody I know does own a house these days.
Well,
you know, renting to get a place.
Yeah.
As you know, we did just move.
Did you buy?
No.
That's what I mean. But
no,
that's what I was going to say. I was like, you shouldn't assume. I'm going to assume because it's Sydney and we're not millionaires. Yeah, is it like, because obviously they want your income and stuff. I've just always found that interesting with any kind of freelance work, especially in the creative industry. Is that ever caused a problem for you?
It's a little bit changed, maybe in.
Yes and no. Like the thing is, so we've now, because of the way we sort of have run our music business, we've actually got now an umbrella company that covers other artist bookings and other events, and we call that EG events.
Other artists?
Yes, so we actually book
sometimes provide the DJs
this
or DJs
business name. We provide similar musicians, or we provide DJs, or we provide
you've
sound.
made a proper company.
Yeah, so we
and also the equipment, like a deck, speakers and lights.
So under that, we've been able to create more steady work for ourselves. Yeah. And because it's under a company name, it has a bit more clout than an ABN.
Yes.
And through that, I think you can get more of a steady income. You still have to do a lot of,
but it can look better. It can look better on paper,
and it looks better on paper, definitely. And I actually see lots of DJs or musicians and sax players as well doing this kind of business structure where you get yourself to a certain point, and then at some point you do start getting multiple requests for same day.
Usually on the same day.
Usually always on the same day. You're like, why can't you just pick a Tuesday? Yeah. and because if you say no to them, like, sorry, I can't help you, you've effectively like lost an opportunity. Yeah, you've shut the door. So we ended up, and because we'd built up a community at that point, we realized we could start outsourcing that to other musicians or DJs that we thought were appropriate for those events.
Same thing? Is that
similar? Like,
when you say similar, like give me an example, like as in a DJ and a sax or a DJ and a violin?
Oh, sometimes they want that. Sometimes they want a DJ and a violin, and we can.
But predominantly.
Mostly because they come to us wanting us as SaxBeatz, and we say, unfortunately, we can't. We're just not available in this date. Are you open to another DJ and sax player? Because they're definitely out there.
With similar vibe.
And how did you find those people to get them in your network?
It's just I don't know,
networking?
just ends up, you just end up,
through the events and
through
the
osmosis,
venues like
just-
that we play.
yeah.
You definitely do some Instagram search like.
It's
for
a
the
whole
So
other-
you
players,
look
yeah.
for them, but is there ever any kind of like, so bad with my words sometimes trying to get it out. But is there ever any like misunderstanding that they're like of why you're trying to follow them and look? Because it could obviously be when the more niche it is, the more competitive it can feel, right? Whereas you're actually trying to help them and help yourself, like you're trying to expand your network.
I actually think like there seems to be a fairly strong community that everybody is supporting each other.
Yeah.
And especially within this niche, I think everybody's kind of in the same boat. That if you've sort of built yourself up enough, people are coming to you and wanting gigs from you, but you can't provide them because you're only one person, or you can't
Because you're
duplicate.
busy.
Yeah,
You're
you're
busy,
busy. So you start reaching out to other people that could fill that role.
So is it reciprocated then?
Yeah, it is
okay.
reciprocated, and we also get other sax players and DJs that do similar to us. They will reach out to us if they have a double up. So I feel like it's actually a really supportive community, and I don't feel that there's been too much competition, like negative.
It's not hostile.
No, I don't think I've ever felt that. No, and I also really like seeing other sax players. I get really inspired by other saxophone players. There's some amazing saxophone players out there.
How
in Sydney.
many people doing similar to what you do would you say there is in Sydney or New South Wales, or how big's your network?
Or how many do we know? How many do we trust?
Or
There is definitely a lot of DJs that they play like with sax players or like with other instrumentalists, but maybe they are not purely just under one brand as we are, like with like some team. But I would say it's like a good few of them, and they know even each other between the like community or network.
But you guys would never play with anyone else. You wouldn't either.
Mostly we don't.
Under the branding, like us as a SaxBeatz, we don't. We keep it like a purely, that's just us.
Yeah.
If there would be like some gig that Malina does solo for maybe corporate event or something
They might not
like
want
that.
the DJ component. They might just want the sax.
Sometimes, and it depends. Like, because we usually book out, or so heavily booked out during the summer periods and weekends, we sort of reserve that just for us as SaxBeatz. But if a request comes in and it's a DJ that or somebody we know, and they're just after one of us, and it's on like a weekday, and we know that it's not going to interfere with our usual gigs, we might take it. But usually it's if we know the DJ or we trust the supplier. So yeah, we there's how many people would you think do this? I'd say there's at least
10 to 20, the sax players, I would say.
Good one, like good, reliable.
But you could divide it also like between the groups that some sax players that they playing like more with DJs, and they do this sort of the stuff of electronic dance music and a house.
Yeah.
And then you have
'Cause it's pretty
someone
niche,
that
right?
are
Yeah.
more focusing for what Malina was studying, like a more for traditional jazz, more like a acoustic thing. So I would say it's like two groups.
But they also cross-pollinate. I mean, the jazz musicians can effectively do anything, because jazz
skilled,
is so
like,
technical.
That's very technical.
If you're trained in jazz,
next level,
you're incredibly skilled usually on the saxophone, and so you can jump onto any style pretty easy. And there are some phenomenal players in Sydney. Some that I know just through social media, but others that I've had the privilege of seeing live. But that being said, a lot of them don't also necessarily want to play these kind of gigs, or
keeping like within there. Like,
or they prefer the jazz gigs.
Yeah, everyone's got their own kind of style and interest and what they like and do. No, I just thought it was interesting because I would have said it was just a handful, but then again, it's just like you only know as far as your network at that point in time, right?
I think there's a lot out there. The ones that we know are also just going to be a handful of the ones that we know. So
yeah, exactly.
There's still more that are out there that are probably
I
playing
would
that we
love
haven't met yet.
love to do it. I said a couple of years ago I'd love to play the piano. I got told when I was young, like I had perfect fingers for pianos. I got long fingers. And then you can see how long my fingers are.
Best time is today or tomorrow.
But yeah, well, I did. I went for one lesson and it just completely put me off. Like the girl, I don't really understand why she was teaching, because I'd like ask her a question. She'd had this like nervous laugh. It was like she was only supposed to be teaching people who already knew how to play. And she was like a real technical kind of player. So I was like, okay, like asking her, really trying to understand it. And it just wasn't great. It was like, I don't know, $100 or something. And I was like,
oh, that sucks.
yeah, I just was like, she's not explaining it to me. Like I'm asking her questions. Like, you know, for example, you could be the best saxophone player in the world. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good teacher, you know, because teaching in itself is its own quality. Mm-hmm. So I think she was probably amazing at what she did, but she just wasn't the right person to be teaching, or not the right person to be teaching me anyway. I'd love
still give it a second
yeah,
go.
don't
well, it sounds like you could teach me.
Not me, but you can't like put pin on it just because of the one bad experience.
No, I know, and then it's just like time and you know, like it's just back of the list. But I would love to, because I went away a few years ago, and one of the girls, we went back to the house, and she was like kind of drunk, and she just went back and there was piano there, and she started playing. I was like, that's so fucking cool. Did she just come back and just spin on it, you know? Because you play piano. And...
a little bit. More now. It's like a just the keyboard, like through the production, just creating some basic melodies or like some easy chord or just like a patterns like for the music.
And what about you? Just saxophone? Or?
I play the flute as well. So that was actually the first instrument I picked up, and then the saxophone squeezed in after that. But now I'm definitely spend more time on the saxophone. But I dabbled. There was a period there when I was about 12 to 14 where I just went a little bit music crazy, and I was like, I would look like a pack horse coming into school, because I would have, I'd have a tenor saxophone, I'd have an alto saxophone, and then I had a violin, and then I had a French horn, and then I had the flute, and then
full wardrobe of instruments.
I would walk into school with all these instruments, just looking like a mad girl.
What? So carrying them all?
Yeah, because I would have bands on and lessons on at different times throughout.
Hilarious.
So I just remember walking in just like looking like a pack horse just with all my instruments. But there was a point where I was like, okay, this is too many instruments going on at one point, and it's too many things too much.
You are still overhang with the bags, sax, cases.
Yeah, now it's like speakers and like cable bags, and oh gosh, we're still pack horses, just for different things.
Different things. And do you still teach sax now?
Yes, yeah.
And where do you do that? Because for example, I'm like, oh, I'd love to learn that, but I imagine if you just started trying to give me a lesson here, I don't think the neighbours would be. It's pretty loud, right? Like, where do you do it?
I'm sure my neighbours love me. Oh my gosh. So I actually teach at a studio. There's a studio in the North Beaches in Brookvale where I teach at, and so you pay a studio fee and a room hire fee, and then you can use the space. And actually, a lot of music teachers from that area are using that studio. So it's a really great studio, and you find at that sort of after school time it's a bit of a hub. You've got all these different instruments being taught, and the rooms are mostly soundproof, but you can still hear bits and pieces.
Oh yeah, no, as long as you're not doing it in your apartment.
Oh no, I am.
A lot.
And a lot. Yeah, I think that you just get to a point where you're like, it won't get better if I don't just do it. And if I haven't had any major complaints yet, but we have just moved into a new place.
What was it like in the old place? Sorry, Tom.
I think they just suffered it, to be honest.
I'm sure, but when you play a saxophone, wow, it's a beautiful sound.
Yeah, but you're not practicing the things you're good at.
Skills.
Well, there's lots of technical stuff, overtones, which just sound like dying elephants, and yeah, so you're practicing things that don't sound good. And it's not nice to listen to. I don't think. I mean, if you've really honed in on something in particular and it's starting to sound really good, and then you're just repeating that over and over to get the muscle memory to make it sound like, then that can be nice to listen to. But I'm not spending too much time on the things that I'm already good at, and I like to obviously focus on stuff.
How often do you practice?
I try to get a couple of hours in every day, but it's not possible.
Whoa.
It's not possible.
She has a calendar with the stickers.
I do. I have my own little star calendar. I decided at some point that I wanted to get back to, I don't know how many thousand hours I've practiced in my life before this point, but I was like, you know what, let's just try this 10,000 hours. So I've got a little sticker chart and I put in every hour that I practice, but it's like really focused practice. It's not like, oh, what's on my phone? Oh, like, you know, like what's in the fridge? No, it's really focused practice and horrible to listen to. I'm sure the neighbors.
How many saxophones do you have?
I have, kind of like three.
Three.
And you teach off one of them, or people have to have their own?
No, people have to have their own. Yeah, I wouldn't give my saxophone to anyone.
So, like, if I want to come and learn saxophone, I have to be committed and I have to buy a saxophone.
No, you can hire.
Oh, you can hire?
Yeah, you can hire. So usually what people do is they hire for 3 months. In the first 3 months of doing something, you can kind of tell whether that's something you want to keep doing or if it's not something that you're going to commit to. So people will hire for 3 months, usually, about that. And
how much would that cost?
Oh, that's a good question.
Roughly?
I actually can't tell you now because all my students so far have been getting it from their own schools.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you. Probably between 100 and 200.
And
unless
really you're planning to put your rates up in the next 4 weeks, what's your kind of general rate for because people listening to this might be like, fuck yeah, I want to learn to play the saxophone.
Yeah.
Roughly?
So at the moment, my lessons for a half an hour are $46 at the studio.
46? That's very specific.
It is, it includes the studio fee.
Yeah, that's really reasonable.
Yeah, it's probably a little less than what should have been considering everything's going up these days, but it makes it accessible.
And how often, if I wanted to learn to play a saxophone, what would your ideal program be? Half an hour weekly for X amount of time?
A lot, yeah, that's a good point. Well, I always encourage people to start off with, everybody's different, how your attention span is. Adults usually have a better attention span, but what adults don't have is somebody else hanging over them, making them do it. Like, it's on them and it would be on you, for example. So I would always say, try and get like 20 minutes in a day, just to like constantly familiarize yourself with the instrument. You'll see huge improvements if you did 20 minutes a day.
Wow.
Like really big improvements. With
you, like half an hour a week?
And then like a half an hour lesson. But that, with some adults, they can already jump into longer lessons because they have the focus. Generally speaking, they'll have longer focus and attention spans. So for you, maybe just half an hour. Yeah. And it all comes down to practice. I don't think it's anything to do with me. I facilitate the space and I try and motivate, and I'm always trying to bring the fun to it. But at the end of the day, it's the student and how much they practice.
Get out of it what
That's
you
the
put
hardest
in.
part.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Like in anything, whatever you put in, you'll get out.
Sorry, Tom, I feel like we're taking over all this girl chat over here.
Malina is the face. Like she always take the front and speaks a lot.
Come on, can we get out?
We need so much more from Tom. I feel like Tom does so much more than people realize. He is the reason we are.
It's always the people behind the scenes that do most of the work and get none of the credit. Like always, And again, like what you do is absolutely amazing, but there is like everyone needs to understand in everything. Yeah, there is so much than what the eye can see that goes into everything.
100%.
Everything. So Tom is the MVP. I'm just going to go with some random questions, get the conversation going.
Drop it in.
What's your favourite venue in Sydney to play at, either as a DJ or with Malina as SaxBeatz?
I think so. I would love to play it in Carousel. Like we went there for one after party. I like how it's like light out, like with the VIP section, the sound and stuff. So
you did play, or you'd like to play?
No, I would like to play there. Like Malina did just.
It's about you. It's about you. Don't talk about me.
Short entrance. So the Carousel, and definitely the good one would be Ivy. Or like some other bigger ones where you can feel the big crowd and energy. But
well, you come to the right place. Might be able to put in a good word. That's where I work. It's my day job.
Oh, you work at Ivy?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
But-
They need SaxBeatz up in pool. I mean, we could do that.
The upcoming season. No, but there is a lot of like a small venues that you can create, or you have like a more like a intimate atmosphere, or you are easier to connect like with the people. We're doing like some gigs at Bondi, at Salties.
Yeah.
I would say that's really like a fun vibes, like a house.
Oh, do you guys
disco.
know Joel Catone?
Maybe. Look, I'm really bad with names.
Yeah,
I'm so
he,
bad with names.
I just met him recently through another friend, and he said he plays at Salties quite often.
Maybe we have
Yeah.
met him, and I just named.
Who books you for Salties?
He's the booking agent. I'm pretty sure. I think he books everyone.
Connor.
Yeah.
Connor. Okay, maybe I'm getting confused. Disregard. Disregard.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where you like to play, and currently where you have played, where would be your favourite place?
I really love back in the days. Maybe I'm not sure if you will remember the Bucket List, the venue
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the beach. It had kind of the special thing because it was like a bit secluded, like from the houses or the venues. Didn't have such a tight sound restrictions that maybe some other venues like have. So that was a really fun place to play. And
Yeah, we had some great gigs there. That was really, really fun, actually.
Have you guys played a festival before?
We've done some like little local festivals. So we played the Taste of Manly festival. So we're on the stage, the Corso
in a
stage.
Corso, yeah.
So it was a big stage in the Corso, and we got to play a cheeky hour set. And that was awesome because it was just like thousands of people milling around. So that was really, really fun. And we also we were on a float
parade.
for World Pride.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was
Cruising
so
to the city,
fun. The energy behind, like when all the floats are, I'll say backstage, so they haven't come out into the main public area. It's like it felt like you're in some kind of American cheer movie. Like every float is busy rehearsing their moves, and there's sparkles, and there's like tinsel, and
Yeah, I
there's
wonder
like
if there's any documentaries
everything.
about like Mardi Gras and all that kind of stuff in Sydney, because it's pretty cool.
and it's so big here, and there's just
Almost like
so
New Year's Eve, I would say, in that like.
bigger than New Year's Eve, you reckon?
Yeah.
I have a
Whoa.
question before I forget it, because short-term attention span over here. When you just said before about playing a festival, it suddenly made me think of a question. Obviously, DJs, they play whatever they want, and singers, they sing whatever they want. Do you guys rehearse your sets? Or obviously Tom's dictating it because he's the one on the decks creating the sound.
I'm at the mercy.
And you're just at his mercy? Like, is that the way it works?
Like over the years, we build up kind of the library of the songs that work well with the sax, and sometimes we definitely going where it is like a more focused, like I said, like for some boat party or for some club, and you wanna put like a lot of energy and good show. You prepare like the tracks and check them that they work with the sax, because a lot of track is detune or the key can be slightly out, and that can really interfere like with playing the sax.
There's a couple of detuned songs that are slightly out, and you'll have to adjust. You can usually adjust to fit it, but it's more just that the sonic sound of some songs aren't as fitting, but they're usually like quite heavily electronic songs. I don't know. So I think with like the festival sets that we've done, we've had a fairly specific set list of what we're going to play. If it's a bigger crowd, and if it's much more official. But for our regular gigs, Tom just plays whatever he feels like, and I just have to flow.
And he knows that you know that song, or
I think he purposely does some mean things to me. He's like,
as a DJ, you love to play new music, of course,
yeah.
To keep it fresh. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And do you, when you're like learning a song on the sax, do you have to like read the music and practice it, or can you just play it now based on the sound of the
Just made a
song?
really weird noise in my nose.
No,
I was like, what?
I think so.
I was like,
It's my tummy. Like,
sorry. That threw me off. I was like, where did that noise come from? I pretty much with music now, it's always around a certain key, so I can hear what key a song is in. I don't have perfect pitch, so I can't hear a note and be like, oh, that's a G, and so therefore I'm in this key. I have to find, I usually can hear the root note, which is like the first note of your key. I don't know if I'm explaining that well for maybe people that aren't musical, but I can
like the note that enters the little bit of the song.
it's like
the
your,
main note
it's like your
for, like,
bass
for
note.
the-
So
for
that
the
bass
track.
note is kind of the note that if you play that through the whole song, it's going to pretty much sound good. It's what the scale is built on. I'm just making this even worse. But anyways,
Malina is giving full stories.
so I can mostly play over anything that Tom plays, but some songs are a bit more obscure. I find the songs that have like really low rolling bass lines, I find them really hard to sometimes make anything sound good over the top of.
Or when the track has lots of elements that is like a super busy.
Yeah,
Maybe
if it's too busy.
the sax is
Too-
then
too
like too
chaotic.
much like on
Yeah.
the top, or it can get
some
like
of
a
those
chaotic.
some of those disco tracks as well.
They have some key changes within
Oh,
the
disco!
track.
I
Yeah.
thought disco would be easy.
Well, it's the sort of like new disco. Some of it's just like moving around the key center a bit unexpectedly. So if you don't know what's coming and you're just like fanging it out on the key that you think it's in, and then it changes, you can start to. If you
Throw
don't
you
know
off.
exactly what that chord change is, it can sound a bit.
Like if you
clangy.
don't know the song off by heart, like it can surprise you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or if you just haven't heard it before and you're not expecting it. So sometimes some of the disco tracks can be a little bit more difficult to play over if I haven't heard them before. If I've heard them before and I'm aware of where if
goes.
it's coming up, then that's okay. But, sometimes
The house
there's been a few
suits more.
surprises.
Yeah.
House is really like, generally speaking, the
Groovy to
most.
play, yeah.
It sits in one key pretty much the whole time. I know sort of now how to build it up and how to create tension within my melody lines before the drop, and that's what you want to do. Like that's house. You know, you're always building up and releasing, right? And you're building up, and then there's the drop, and you're releasing. So I try my best to always make my melody lines on the saxophone follow that build up and then release in some way. And sometimes that's by holding a really long note. Sometimes that's just by like scooping up to a note right before the drop, or sometimes it's like repeating a specific melody line. So building up the melody line, letting it peak, and then continuing the melody line, but with more embellishments. Sorry, am I going too technical with that? I don't know.
For me personally, I'm a little bit lost. But,
Sorry.
but no, I'm not gonna like cut you off because I'm like some people. Just because I don't understand doesn't mean someone else isn't going to understand. But it's it's very interesting. But talking of tracks, you guys recently released your own song.
With a collaboration and cooperation with Brazilian DJ Prince. He's at the moment like based in Brisbane. So
How did
Shout out.
you meet him?
we,
Oh, Byron.
I think we did a gig in
Byron.
Bay, the beach hotel, and I think so they were just hanging around, like
around,
partying, having fun. We just started like a conversation
Yeah.
with him and like another mate, and from that we kind of built up the connection, and I sent him the idea of the track like with certain form, and he took it to the next level, I would say so.
Like where did the idea come from?
Oh, he was playing me like some tracks with the sax that he did, so he has like
So he's
some,
a producer himself.
He's a producer.
yeah, he's a
okay.
producer. He has like some sax tracks, so that was maybe the connection that we could do like something good together.
And also, I just like to mention, so Tom is a producer, and all of the songs. So how many songs do we have out now? How many tracks? 10,
Out is maybe
11,
just 10,
12,
but
10 to 12.
the computer is full of the
Yeah, we have
unfinished projects
But-
that waiting for sax recording or need a mixing or mastering.
so many unfinished tracks. But the
I-
thing is,
that's the thing, like with the tracks.
Tom is the one producing all of these tracks, and I'm in awe of Tom's ability to whip up an amazing track in one day. I'm out doing something, and he's just stuck on the computer like this. All you hear, you've got the headphones, and he's just like locked in for like 16 hours or something.
Oh, no,
and then you come
that's
home at the end of the
overrated.
day, and he's like, "I have banger. This is the best." And then so he puts it on, turns the bass up, and he's like,
that lasts like for some time, and then you re-listen it like within the few days. Oh my God, this track, it's bad, you know.
That's so good. So you met this guy, and that song that we're currently talking about is called
Bounce,
Bounce,
like a release.
Yeah.
Just, like,
and
September.
that's a recently
It's
out.
the most recent release,
Yep.
and it's a collaboration with Prince. So hi, Prince, if you're watching. Hey.
Hopefully it will be. And then you've also got some more in the pipeline, if I'm not
Oh,
wrong.
yes, we have one coming out in December, and that will be on another Brazilian label, Mr. Crew.
Mr. Screw.
Yeah.
No, Mustache.
Mustache Crew.
Mustache Crew.
What is
Not-
it?
Not Mr. Screw.
Mustache.
Mustache Crew. Sorry. I love it. It's adorable. But yeah, Mustache Crew.
Yep.
So
Jesus, when I'm editing this, I could be editing these captions all wrong.
oh gosh.
Be all wrong
But,
altogether.
I like that one. That one's a bit reggae.
Yeah, it has the reggae chops.
No, not
or
reggae,
samples.
like Rasta. So we've got Tom does these amazing tracks and amazing bass lines, amazing like energy, and I come along and I'm like, I always do this, and he's probably over it, but sometimes he listens to me. I do some bad rap over the top, and I'm like, it needs to have some rap voice in it. Or
And you do it.
No, on one I did, but we won't get into that one. But on this one I was like, oh, no. I was like, it needs like shaggy kind of a voice like that.
She can take a credit like for this idea.
I'll
to
take
put
credit for
there.
that
The
one.
idea
But
is
no.
that you just need the artist.
So Tom managed to find a voice sample that was like this kind of like Rasta voice
Rasta.
sample.
Do you not like that beer, by the way?
No, I do. I'm just talking. Oh my
You'll be
god.
probably warm already.
I'm just yeah, very excited. Sorry. I'll drink my beer. I
Okay.
really want people to know how much he does, and I think people don't realize it because I'm prancing around at the front all the time.
Yeah, well, even when
But-
you and I first connected, I didn't know. I could have thought that the DJ could come and go, and you could work with multiple DJs.
Yeah.
And it's like all about you. So yeah, I think it's a fair point that you as a brand together.
It's a bit built like that someone is like a more the face and someone is like a more in the background. So of course in this situation it is more Malina, and she definitely does like a more of that like a social thing and talking and the presentation of that.
Is that
Okay, you
anything? Is that anything to do with English not being your first language? And like, do you find it easy to converse with people in like those situations?
Not really like that, but I would say I'm more like a technical person, or as she's not doing the all other
I'm not a
aspects
technical
of the business, or is like not technical. Maybe we are like a bit balancing ourselves.
Chalk and cheese.
I definitely have both parts. I can when I'm doing like my things, I can be with the music production or anything else connected to it. I can be more close in a cray introverted, but. How I came like to the music, like I had just like a hifi speakers controlling the bass heights and the volume, and just throwing the parties like for the friends, like just the guys at the beginning in like some small house. So
What's the scene like in Slovakia?
yeah, maybe that. Not sure if it would like because we are like past that, but. Maybe I had like an idea to mention that when I was DJing like in Slovakia 10 years ago, the current music or trend, the situation was of course a bit different than it's now with the music. So that little bit changed. At the time was speaking EDM music was the like a boom, and the electronic music names as Hardwell and Garrix Ultra Music Festival. So this definitely influence the Slovakian like a club culture. So over there it was more EDM and like a really upbeat electronic like a tracks. But when I arrived like here to Australia, you could definitely find out or notice, or you came like to the experience that Sydney is based a lot of like on day culture. You have like so many venues, pub, hotels, rooftops where you play the music like during the day, and to this period of the day and time, like the house works like so well. So I eventually had to a little bit redevelop myself, like with the music style, because that time, as I said, I was playing like a more EDM or like a more commercial stuff, and over here also to suit like for the sax and for that brand, it was like a more house, funky, jacking, like a good grooves, tech house funk. The music was of course like a bit different, so with that they changed my focus and the orientation and the taste. In this time, we can really see that each period has some trend. So nowadays it's really upbeat music, like a hard dance. You have like these old songs that being remixed, like
That's my favorite.
or like a change
them
to
are
this
so
modern.
good.
Like a modern, like a techno beat to fulfill the needs, because that culture, that rave culture, maybe that come back now, like for the parties or the events. So that's happening, and of course maybe the boom of melodic techno, like with recent years. Anima, maybe the best example to point out, like with amazing the visuals, these 3D things and the stuff what they do. That's definitely like a next level or something what is growing.
Yeah.
I went like on my escapade.
That was good though. It was good.
I think we just made up the balance of the the talking. No, it was great. I was like, I just like listening to your voice. I was like, you know, it's hard to pay attention to what you're actually saying because I loved it, just like the sound of the
It's
voice.
easy to understand me when I speak for you, or
Yeah, it is. But it's like I'm so focused on the way you're talking. It's hard for me to focus on like the words themselves, you know, because I was like, oh, that just sounds so nice, you know.
Oh, thank you.
But that's probably just a little bit of my crazy brain as well. It's probably not you at all. But thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's interesting to see how the different cultures have like come to Sydney and then, you know, ended up on like a united front of like where they've got to or whatever. There's a couple of things I'd like to know a little bit more about. I would like to know your future plans, but I want to get that to in a second. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be asking. I felt like we swanned over quite quickly how you guys actually got together. So you were playing together for 2.5 years, and then now you're a couple. Like what actually happened? Like, did one day one of you like make a move? Like, obviously we don't need to go into the gory details, but like I think
You definitely know the saying, don't mix the business with the pleasure.
Look, it was just a slow dissolve into how do you just spend so much time with somebody. They like you end up just having this a connection with them that you're both so focused on something that you enjoy. You have a shared goal, and you both really love what you're doing, and you both see that vision, and so you spend that time together, and because it's like a united front, I think, on that, you just sort of connect to that person. So over that time we just realized that there was more of a connection there.
But had you guys been liking one another for a while before actually something happened?
I think there was definitely
some connection maybe was there,
yeah.
but
But you were both trying to ignore it? Or?
Yeah, I think there was a period there where I think we realized that there was something there, but just we're like, no, don't go there.
Because it must be quite nerve-wracking, right, when you guys finally did cross that bridge, because your whole business is built on it, right?
Yeah, that was actually
has the potential
thing.
to go tits up. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was something that was registering on both of our minds. It was an awareness that there was that something there, but don't go near there. Like,
not worth it.
Yeah, it was there was a long period of time where like, this is not worth it. This is just going to cause problems. So
ruin a good thing.
Yeah, but then you realize, oh, actually, you can have this good thing and keep doing the
music. It can be better. And now look how happy you are.
Yeah. So yeah, now it's been a while, and we still get to. It's really cool. I get to play music with my partner. I mean, we have our moments, like everybody, you know.
We are quite different, as you can see.
You guys remind me of me and Porrick, but you guys are way more talented.
What was the combination?
have no boyfriend.
So me and,
okay.
you know,
I
you
have a
met
boyfriend.
before. I said we're very similar. Like I'm very much like Malina, who's very chill like you. I'm quite full on. But I was like, but you guys are way more talented.
I don't know about
You're
that.
doing amazing content, and what you're doing like for community, like
Yeah.
and you're really building something, and like having the amazing like guests like through the interviews
Yeah.
and stuff.
Also, we want to say thank you to you for doing this because,
Oh, thanks for coming.
like, because we don't exist without people appreciating what we do.
Yeah.
And you building this platform for us to come and talk and for people to get to know where we come from as
And hear Tom's
artists
lovely
and
voice.
music. Thomas comes from and his background, which so many Australians won't understand what Thomas's background is or that culture, so it's nice for them to see that. But just have this platform, and you've given a lot of DJs and people in the scene in Sydney a platform to
Space. Yeah.
yeah, a space to
nice.
share
Thank you.
share their
Let's put that as
story.
a testimonial on my website that doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, it does now. But thank you to you, because honestly, like, musicians, artists, performers, they can't do what they do without the support of people such as yourself.
No, thank you. It's very
And
kind.
other people.
But it's like today, like I posted this video, this is going to be weeks old now by the time I'm saying this, but about the first birthday, I was like, I can't believe it's been 12 whole months, and like what the idea kind of started with and where I've got it to, and just how many people are willing to like come and speak to me, because as you can see, it's not much, and like some people, there's definitely some egos that are probably a little bit too high to come here and talk to me, which is completely fine. But near enough every single person that I reach out to, it's like, yeah, absolutely, would love to.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's kind of, it's like what you were saying before about your kind of community more around the saxophone, like that kind of uplifting, happy, supportive. Like it's nice, and it makes you feel nice to make other people feel nice, and then it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's nice.
it's
how it
nice.
should
It's nice
be,
to be
yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
It's
it is
nice to be
nice to
nice.
be
It's
nice.
all about the people.
All
It's
about the
all
people.
about the people. Like, so much.
I could sit here and talk to the pair of you all day, but
You talk too
what's
I need to say that.
so what's the 1 year plan? What's the 5 year plan? What's on the bucket list? What do you want to do? What's the goals?
Oh, there's so much. You start, Tom. I feel like we have slightly different goals.
Oh,
That's
Not,
okay, though.
We don't, but we do, but we don't.
You
but
can
we
hit
do.
both of them.
For me, it would be definitely consistently releasing high quality of music and get it signed like with renowned labels, and continue progressing and building ourselves as a brand, and playing like some bigger events.
Anything really specific? Any venues? Like I know we touched on it before. Any festivals? Any artists you want to work with?
Probably play in Ibiza in like some of the clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to Ibiza. I haven't even been there. So
You haven't?
no.
you
I won't even
English?
go on about it because I've talked about it so many. Everyone is always so shocked. Because I
Prepare
came
a
here when I was
shocked.
21.
big bag of money.
Yeah,
And a big bag of something else.
If
No,
you're
joking.
going, if you're going in summer, my gosh, the prices. It was like $45 Australian for a cocktail. Oh,
No,
God.
thanks.
Just cried my money
Okay,
away.
so we've got some from Tom and some from you. Short-term, long-term goals.
Yeah, when Tom creates a song and then we put the saxophone over the top and it just and
Is that,
it
the, is
works.
that the creative process, is it?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, like the creative
Mostly,
process
yeah.
is the music creation of music. And when we hit on a song that we feel just gives you that euphoric feeling, then you're just like, I love this song. Like I want to release music that makes me feel like that all the time, where we're so happy and we're so proud of how it sounds.
Where can
And-
we find your music? Is it on Spotify?
Yeah, it's all on
Spotify,
all,
SoundCloud,
all
Beatport,
streaming platforms.
all the platforms.
Yeah, and so some of those songs I just love, hear them. Sounds really wanky because you're listening to your own music, but you're like really proud and you feel like that song has a good meaning behind it, and we hope that other people feel the same way that you feel when you listen to that
Do
song.
you know what? At the end of the day, as long as it's making you happy, that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
And if you can bring joy to other people in the process, and you can get financial gain and career and all that kind of stuff, wonderful. But really, if it's making you happy, then that's a win in itself.
But when it comes to like a live performance, and you're playing that song and they are feeling it back, like you're getting the energy from the crowds,
The feeling-
that they love that moment, and that song is exactly what they need in that moment, and they give that back to you. It's like, that's the best thing. It's so nice to like to you enjoy it together. So it's not like I'm enjoying it and they're enjoying it, I'm not.
When you are
like,
connected.
When you're,
It's
it's
the only
like
one.
connected.
And when you play your own music and people love it, that's the highest
yeah.
feeling. That's
So
the
I just-
energy rewarding.
Yeah, I want to release songs that we feel that, and when we play
Have
it, the audience feels that, and we have this connection moment where it's like, yes. Just
Well, I have no doubt that that will happen. And you know, the actual best thing for me about like interviewing so many people that are like up and coming in the scene, I hope that some of these interviews, if you can call them an interview, if it's more of a conversation, will age well, and in like 20 years time we'll be looking back at snippets of all of these really successful people and everything they've done. Like, so that's why I always get people to tell me their goals and their bucket list, because I just think it would be so fucking cool, you know, have this really old kind of content, and then we can circle back as well.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. 20 years. Have we thought that far ahead?
Sorry, hopefully it'll be sooner than that, but it will age well, you know, the older it gets,
Hopefully,
the better.
hopefully we'll age well.
And you guys
we
plan,
plan on it.
You guys plan to stay in Sydney? Any intentions of moving? Like, you're happy here?
I mean, we really love Sydney, but at the same time, like, there's if you're able to do this all over the world, that's also amazing.
Have you got any
And-
pets?
Have I got any pets?
Nope.
Yeah, no. So you guys could, if you got an
We're not
opportunity to go
tethered down and
to
such.
America tomorrow, you could get up and go.
Yeah, that sounds
That's
great.
really cool. Like, that you've got something that you're doing it together, so it's not like, oh babe, I've had this opportunity and one of you doesn't want to go and you have to move your whole life. Do you know, like, a lot of people in relationships have to make a lot of compromise and a lot of
Yeah.
sacrifice, and
a
I
good
have no
point.
doubts that you probably still have to do that in your own way, but you guys are a unit, you know. It's pretty cool when the opportunities come your way, it's for both of you and not just one.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And pretty unique.
It's special that we get to share that with each other.
Yeah, very special. Very
Yeah.
special.
It's nice.
So yeah, it'd be cool to see where the wind and the opportunities take you. Have you been? Have you ever been asked to do an event that's like really random, and they've like, you know, oh, so and so in Darwin wants you to play at their birthday and it's flown. Have you ever been like taken to a random place?
Yeah. We get a fair amount, I would say. We did
Was
play
it
in Darwin last year, actually.
Oh, really? That was
Yeah.
just an example, because I was talking about it today.
I was like,
Yeah, we played some gigs up in Darwin, and that was cool. Actually, we really liked Darwin. Like,
That was the first place I ever went to in Australia. I
Really?
flew into Darwin. That was my. I was.
that's an interesting energy.
Yeah.
they had great coffee in Darwin
Yeah,
as well.
very
Really?
good coffee.
I would say it was the places we went. Great coffee.
So you got flown up there specifically to play?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
which was awesome. We've been really, really privileged to be able to fly to quite a few places around Australia to play, and I never thought that I would be doing that when
Big
I
dream.
was playing jazz back in Christchurch, being like,
With
This
your
is
100
kind of-
instruments on your way into school?
yeah, like slowly just feeling like jazz wasn't 100% my thing. So I never thought that I would be, flying across Australia to play gigs.
Yeah.
So that's really special, and we're so grateful for all the people that have booked us for these events and continue to like our music and support us. It's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. When you actually sit there and really think about it and pick it apart and talk about it, because it just becomes so normal to you, you know, you kind of just got like, you get, I don't know the right word, but you just kind of get used to it, right? And all of a sudden it takes you to stop and think about what's happening for a second and what your reality is and what you get to do and go and do for your job every day. Like, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Very
it is
cool.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude,
yeah.
exactly.
Big gratitude and yeah.
So this has been amazing, and I could sit here and talk to you all day, so we are quite far in.
Sorry.
No,
we're
so
talking too
Malina
much.
talks a lot.
So do I. I try my hardest not to, because I'm like, you're interviewing them, they don't need to interview you. But it's
No,
hard,
I'm
right?
we'd
It's
like to
really
know
good
about
part,
you as
like,
well.
To hearing your,
But it's hard
stuff.
because obviously people are coming here and chatting to me for the first time. So you might want to know, for example, I haven't been to Ibiza before, but I have regular listeners. They don't want to listen to me repeating myself every time. And I think, how does anyone do shows like this and not repeat themselves
I think
constantly?
They do. The
Yeah,
podcasts
maybe
that
they
I
do.
listen to, you know, those facts get brought up But like yourself, you say them, but you'll probably say, but anyone who listens knows this, and
and
Slightly different way.
yeah, you say it a slightly different way.
And the worst part is my memory's so bad, I'd probably tell the story completely differently. I don't even remember. Probably tell a different story altogether. But yeah, thank you both so much for coming over. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we finish up?
Something.
Did you have something? I just want to say thank you for having us. Thank you so much for having us.
Coming. Thank you so much. SaxBeatz, Malina and Tom, for coming over. I really appreciate your time and sharing your amazing story with me. And I look forward to... We didn't actually even talk about how we met. But like,
No, we didn't. I feel like there's so much.
But yeah, no, big shout out to Sean O'Mara from Redwood Events.
What a legend.
What a legend for putting us in touch on the day. He dragged me aside and he's like, you need to get these guys on the podcast. And here we are. So thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you ever so much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.